Look, I've never had to apply for anything in my entire life except for this job. They want me to apply for an award? Listen, I've done so many programs. I have all of these files. Which award would I even apply for?
So, what award would I put in for?
Wait, what? Have you have you seen how many awards we have? Which is great, but how do I even get on my land time? I'm gonna need a minute to. Oh my goodness, y'all! There's not enough coffee for this. How do I even get started?
I don't even know where to begin. I've never applied for an award before.
What category should I apply for?
What award do I apply for? There's so many.
You know, this award world is very scary.
I don't know how to apply.
I've never applied for an award before, so where do I start?
I don't have time to write this up.
So I already know there are superstars,
But I'm not a magical space unicorn.
and then there are people like me.
So how am I even gonna know that my program would even win?
I'm just doing my job like everybody else. Nothing I do is award worthy.
I'm just doing my job.
My work isn't good enough. I don't think this is award worthy.
My program isn't worth an award.
I'm not sure if my program is award worthy.
What does that mean anyway?
There's just too much.
My name is John Fuller. I am the current chair for the Awards and Recognition Training Subcommittee. I am a Human Development and Family Science Specialist with the University of Missouri Extension. I have been with Extension for over 3 years. I am a 10-year Army veteran. In 2019, I was selected as the past president's new professional award recipient. I have won 3 state and regional awards. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from Central Methodist University. I received my master's degree from the University of Missouri in social work. I am currently the co-lead for a state program, Taking Care of You. I am the chair-elect for the Missouri State Affiliate. I live in Poplar Bluff with my wife and 3 children. Also joining me today is Ms. Keyshawn Thomas, who serves as the University of Georgia's Cooperative Extension Family and Consumer Sciences Agent for Bibb County, Georgia. Ms. Thomas has over 15 years of experience in higher education. Her primary responsibility is to provide primary leadership for the development and implementation of research-based educational programs related to families and community systems that serve families. Selected program areas are nutrition, food safety, infant and child development, and financial capabilities. Keyshawn has won 7 national awards, 8 regional, and 11 state. She holds a master's in public administration and a bachelor's of science from Florida A&M University. Ms. Thomas also holds certification in food safety, chronic disease prevention, and brain development. Ms. Thomas lives in Macon, Georgia, with her husband and 3 children. Also joining us today is Diane Reinhold. She is a nutrition and wellness unit educator from the University of Illinois Extension. She serves Joe Davies, Stevenson, and Winnebago counties. Diane received a bachelor's of science degree in nutrition and dietetics from North Dakota State University. She then received a master's of science degree in nutrition and dietetics and a master's of public health degree from St. Louis University. During that time, she also completed a certificate of university teaching. Before joining Extension, Diane worked as a registered clinical dietitian. She specialized in medical nutrition therapy for the geriatrics and critical care populations, diabetes education, and she also supervised dietetic intern students. Diane is a member of the Association of Diabetes Care and Education Specialists and is a National Diabetes Prevention Program lifestyle coach. Diane is passionate about empowering others to incorporate health lifestyles, choices through diet, stress management, and physical activity. Her areas of expertise include obesity, chronic disease prevention and management, healthy lifestyles, food safety, and food preservation. With that being said, let me welcome Ms. Keyshawn Thomas.
Thank you so much, John, for that wonderful introduction. And one of the things I would like for our viewers to take away from that introduction is I'm just like you all. At one point, I was sitting in my office contemplating writing an award, and I could not figure out which to apply for, hence our video. And I thought, well, my work is not award worthy, but I did it. I applied, and today you guys are going to get the benefit of that expertise. So, submitting an award is similar to preparing a recipe for the first time. So, for today's presentation, the objections are as follows: the recipe for submitting an award, the initial groundwork for submitting an award, like what ingredients would you need to complete this recipe? How do you put these things together to make a wonderful, tasty dish? And the resources, who can help? Has someone else cooked the dish before? Can they provide different ingredients to make it taste differently? So today, think about this application as a recipe, and we will go through the steps of this recipe with you for applying for an award. Our first speaker will be John.
So one of the things that we want to first consider when you're looking at awards, when it comes to like anything, you want to look at, isn't it an individual award? Is it a team award? Or can it fit in both categories and how you want to apply? So you want to kind of determine that and maybe ask your other affiliates if they want to be part of that. That's the first step, is figuring out how you're going to apply. Understand that awards have a time frame. So you may say, well, it's been a couple years since I actually done that award. We'll look at the awards because some of those awards allow you within the past 3 to 5 years, if you've done that award, to still apply for a national award with that. And then you may be thinking, well, this is the first year I've launched this new program. I really don't have a lot of information on it. It doesn't mean that you have to apply it this year, but in the future, as you get more information and results and impacts from that award, you still have time to submit for that award at a national level. We also kind of want to talk about that. You want to look at when your awards need to be submitted so your state can look at that, because the national level deadline is set for your state affiliate confirm who their winners are. Your state one is the one that you need to really be looking at date for submission. And understand that when you're looking at these awards, another thing you want to consider is, are you going to have the time to maybe go to a national conference? Because some of these awards require you to make a presentation during the national conference. So you may be saying, well, I really can't go. Do I need to apply? Always apply, but make sure that you understand that it may require you to go to the national conference. And if you win, you also need to understand that you have to show up in person on some of these awards in order to receive the award or the prize. So you really want to look at that. So once again, we're talking about at the national level, that if you win, do you have the capabilities? Are you planning on going to the national conference to be able to receive those awards? And sometimes you can still win the award, but they come with scholarships, a waive of the registration. If you don't go, you don't get those awards that come along with it. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Keyshawn.
Okay, so one good way to determine and to finish out your mise en place process is to look at the 2021 awards at a glance. It has been revised, is now more visually attractive, but this is a synopsis of all of the awards. It gives you the award, the membership requirements, how long, because some awards require that you be a member a little longer. It gives the purpose, and if there are special requirements, and if there is a scholarship or prize that you receive for winning the award. Now, in the directions, it tells you for the awards at a glance, it does instruct you to look at the NEAFCS awards manual for a more in-depth version of the awards. And we're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about the manual, judging sheets, and all of these things. But this may give you an idea. Say, for instance, you're thinking about applying for an award maybe in 2022. So one of the first steps may be to look at the awards at a glance and say, this may be something I want to look further into, to dig deeper into in the awards manual.
Congratulations. I'm so excited. You've decided to submit an award. So keeping with our theme of making a recipe, you are going to need to know what goes into that recipe. In fact, you will want to look at the ingredients list to make sure you have everything you need before you even begin. Well, when you're making a recipe, just like when you're writing an award, you are going to want to look at your NEA FCS manual, just like Keyshawn had said. And that manual, again, is going to tell you everything that you need to know. In fact, this manual is going to tell you all of the ingredients as well as the quantities of the things and items that you're going to need to include within your award application. For example, it may say you need to include 4 pieces of supplemental resources. So the important thing is that you are familiar with the award, that you follow the directions precisely, that you're looking at your manual, that you're not only looking at the manual, but you're also looking at the judging sheets. Each of the award categories are going to tell you the very specifics of your application, the types of examples needed. It'll indicate if there's a monetary award attached with regards to the requirements for attending the national conference, if there's a monetary award attached. It's also going to tell you if you have to present a poster session or if you're going to present at the session for the national conference. The judging sheet is going to tell you what the judges or reviewers are going to be looking at specifically and how each of those different sections of the application are going to be weighed. And so this is really important. And so we're going to look at the Community Partnership Award, and we're going to treat it as a recipe, and we're going to walk you through the process of writing a successful award. So moving to the next slide, we are looking at, as I said, the example of writing a Community Partnership Award. So within this award, the description of the community partnership, it's 10 points. And you, in this section, you will need to communicate all of your efforts in building the community partnership to meet the educational needs and or concerns of the families within your community. So in this section, the award application process, you are going to need to communicate 2 things. The first thing you need to communicate is the need for the partnership. You're going to want to answer the question, why are you partnering? When writing about the need for the partnership, you're going to want to include information about the type of needs assessment used to help you determine that you need to provide this type of programming or increase the community education. So it's going to be important that you communicate why you're partnering with the particular community partner that you select. You're going to want to include information about whether you did a formal or informal needs assessment. Did you gather your data from secondary data, or did you gather directly from doing interviews, questionnaires, surveys? Did you conduct focus groups? Or did you do observational studies? So again, you're going to want to include this information within the section of your award application. The second question you need to answer as part of this section is you're going to want to indicate evidence of your collaboration with others within the community that are non-FCS partners. So you want to show evidence of that partnership and your collaboration efforts. You're going to want to make sure that you're including the common objectives and outcomes, and you're going to want to make sure that you're demonstrating or communicating your shared challenges and that you're leveraging your resources. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Keyshawn.
So the next section is our program description. It's 15 points, but it does require us to get a little more in depth on what we're doing or what we have done that we're applying for. So describing this packet of the section of the application, let's take our example of the Community Partnership Award. The language from the NEAFCS manual reads the need for the program, uniqueness, objectives, and target audience. This section is where I like to say you will tell the story. You'll tell the story of why you did the program, how you did the program, whom you did the program with, and what did you do? What was the program about? So let's take for an example our community partnership. In March 2020, COVID-19 reached Georgia. The virus spread swiftly. On March 2nd, there were 39 cases in Bibb County. By March 27th, there were over 2,000 cases. January 2021, there were over 10,000 cases. The impact was felt statewide as public colleges and universities closed, restaurants discontinued dine-in service, and some counties declared a state of emergency and instituted curfews. UGA Cooperative Extension was also impacted. We had to develop a new and creative ways to deliver research information. In some cases, we had to refute myths and incorrect information. Bibb County Extension, in tandem with the Bibb County government, the Public Health Department, and the Sheriff's Office, collaborated to provide direct consumer messaging via social media, provide PPE materials to county residents, and provide virtual physical activity opportunities. I gave you a lot of information. Of course, this has to be expanded upon, but we know who was involved in the program: Extension, the Sheriff's Office, the Public Health Department, as well as the county government. We know what we were going to do. 3 things: direct consumer messaging, provide PPE materials, as well as virtual physical activity opportunities. Of course, we will go in, you can go much further into how you would do it. And also we want to make sure for the program description, say for instance, you'd like to have the same program and you want to apply for a different award. If I were to take this community partnership, this little description that I just gave you all, if I were to take that and rewrite it for, say for instance, if I wanted to do environmental education, then I would really focus on the environmental education piece, the information that we put out for county residents, talking about sanitizing and disinfecting, for instance. So all of this information can be expanded upon, and you can go in and talk about, for instance, and for this activity, for this program, I would say that the mayor provided emails to county residents, and we also provided trainings for county employees. So that's kind of getting into the how we did it, how we were able to conduct this program.
Thank you, Keyshawn. So looking at the accomplishments and impact section, part of your recipe or your award application, it's 25 points. So you are going to really want to be detailed and concise when writing this, because there's a lot of information that really needs to be included. And so in this section, you're going to continue telling your story, and it's going to allow you to share your accomplishments. Now, in Extension, when we think of accomplishments, generally we think in terms of impact and outcomes. So impact allows us to show our program's long-term success or progress. To successfully show our accomplishments and to be able to show our impact, you really need to have a solid evaluation tool to help you gather that data. So for example, following Keyshawn's program example, she used focus groups and conducted surveys to gather the data when she partnered with the Sheriff's Department, the local health department, to distribute PPE equipment to Bibb County. So her follow-up survey revealed that the participants used at least 2 or 3 PPE items. It also showed that they saved money because they didn't have to purchase these items, and the people that received this information shared the information with at least 2 additional people. So this allowed her to demonstrate a multiplier effect, meaning that even though she engaged one person through the program, her reach was significantly greater. And again, she was able to gather this information because she used her objectives, and she used those objectives to develop her evaluation questions so that when she conducted her survey, she was able to show the impact. Additionally, she used focus groups. So she used focus groups for the Bibb County employees, and in the virtual focus groups that she conducted, she was able to learn that the county employees indicated that they viewed Extension as a trusted source with COVID information. Additionally, the staff were able to properly identify high touch points within their homes, so they were able to clean them properly. And they also indicated that they had a better understanding of how to properly wash face coverings. So again, 25 points in this section. You have to be very concise and very detailed. Remember, your evaluation is going to provide you with the tools to communicate your program's impact to others. And it's super important because whether you're communicating with the NEA FCS judges or whether you're communicating with local funders, your programming impact is very crucial. It's going to help with your local public relations. It's going to bolster staff morale, and it's going to help attract and retain support from current and potential funders within your community. But I do have to caution you, it's important that you understand the difference between activity and impact, especially when you're writing your award application. Remember earlier I said that impact is generally the long-term consequence of a project, and it can either have a positive or negative impact. It can be a primary or secondary long-term effect that can be produced by your intervention, such as holding a drive-through event, providing PPE equipment, such as that was held in Bibb County, or it can also give you direct or indirect or even unintended consequences. So that has to do with impact. Whereas activity is the actions that are taken or the processes through which your inputs are mobilized to produce specific outputs. So remember, our inputs are going to be our resources that we use for our program. So our time, our training materials. In the example that we're using, they had local sheriff's departments conducting traffic detail to make sure everything ran smoothly for their event. They also had the mayor's office doing cross promotion of the event. And so these are activities, they're the resources for the program that then were able to mobilize those outputs, which then had an impact within the community. So moving to our next slide, we're going to be again talking about accomplishments. And in this section, we will need to answer the question, what will happen because the participants did or learned something because of the program or because of your intervention? So it's common for people to begin listing the things that they've done. So maybe they're listing, okay, we had a drive-through, we ran social media posts, we ran an event in the newspaper, the local newspaper. But keep in mind that that is simply a list of activities. It's not going to be your accomplishments. Your accomplishments in the impact are going to come from your very specific list of objectives and your outcomes. So take time to really consider what your written objectives and your desired outcomes are going to be, in addition to the activities that you do, because it's going to provide you with the justification for all the work that you've completed. And it's really going to give you the basis for having a solid evaluation that you can then show and tell others how you made a difference, so your impact. So moving to the last section of accomplishments and impacts. Again, I said this is a really heavily weighted, it's 25 points. So again, this is the bulk of where you're receiving your points. So you want to make sure that you've covered everything that you need. You're also going to want to include and answer the question, what accomplishments came about because of the collaboration among partners. So was there a personal accomplishment? Was there a professional accomplishment made? This, for example, one of the accomplishments could be that you found new partners to join your coalition or the project or community partnership that you're working on. So you were able to, again, gain new partners. Did you gain valuable information from your participants to share with your stakeholders? So think about what your goals are and how that collaborative effort impacts the community overall. It's also very important that you make sure that you are taking the time to ask your community partner to go ahead and write a letter of support. So within each award, this one is our community awards that we're writing for. They're going to have different requirements. This one asks that you provide a letter of support. Your letter of support, you are going to want to make sure that you allow enough lead time for that community partner to write that letter. Give your community partner some direction and guidance. What things maybe would you suggest including? Be very thoughtful in who you ask to write the letter, because your best buddy from this particular project might not be the person who has the ability to articulate really all of the things that were accomplished because of this partnership. So again, provide them guidance, give them a timeline, allow them adequate time to write their application. And again, this is a very important section, so make sure you're very detailed and concise. All right, now I'm going to turn it back to Keyshawn.
The role of NEAFCS members. In this section, we want to see the role that you played in this project or in the program. We want it to be very clear and concise. Say, for instance, the county manager came to you and said, let's do a drive-through PPE program. Or if you were the spearhead, like in my case at Bibb County, if I was the person that spearheaded it and said, let's pull these organizations together, I provided the meeting space, all of that will be included in this section of the program. Did you provide a significant impact to the execution of the program or project? The reader must have a clear understanding of what you contributed. So in the past, we've seen instances where it was clear that it was a existing program and the applicant just kind of tagged along and did maybe a presentation. That is not, that's clear that that is not a community partnership. You just kind of went in and you did a session on somebody else's program. So we want a clear understanding of the role the NEAFCS member played in the project. If there was a grant writing team and you were on the grant writing team and you contributed to writing a grant that got funded, that is huge. That is a clear, concise role in this project. So the role of community partners, contributions and true partnerships. So this is continued. We want to make sure that there are true partnerships, that it is not just, in some cases, sometimes we wish that we could get a pot of money and somebody would just say, develop a program. But what we want to show is that there's a true partnership, that everybody kind of had a role to play. Sticking with our examples, reviewers want to see a true partnership. It may be tempting to apply because the county provided funding, for instance, but you do want to demonstrate a true partnership. The language in the manual reads, what did the community groups or agencies contribute to the partnership effort? So taking our example, if I were writing from this example for community partnership, I would say that the county government purchased PPE supplies and provided a venue for distribution. The county sheriff's office provided traffic detail, and all social media posts were cross-posted, and the county agent was asked to present virtual trainings for county department heads and employees entitled COVID-19 Facts Not Fear. The mayor of Bibb County, Georgia, distributed fact sheets via email and referenced them during his weekly mixed state of the city address. So all of those things show a true partnership. Pictures from the event, they show a true partnership. Numbers are also a good add-in in this session. So we see on our slide there, we have a flyer from a previous program that I did with two other people, two different flyers. We know that the partners were UGA Cooperative Extension, Peach State Health Plan, and the American Cancer Society. But what I really want you to focus on is the table that is also on this slide. At the very last one, it says the host site for the barn quilt donation money to establish 3-year barn quilt. That is huge because that also indicates that the partners are in it kind of for the long haul. So it indicates a future partnership as well, that they are in it to continue this partnership, and it could be that it will be something that will be continued. It also indicates in this table, don't be afraid to include tables in this portion or anytime that you are listing a series of things to make it more attractive for the reviewer. Don't be afraid to list tables. We have monies that are listed on this table for people that contributed to the project. So that's a good way to get the information across in a attractive manner as well, tables.
Within this section of the award application, you will want to write about the continuation and expansion of the partnership and what it looks like. You are going to be communicating, what's next. You are going to want to, talk about what things will look like moving forward and how it's going to impact the future programming because of what you did in your current program. So looking at our example of the Bibb County Partnership, it was a huge success and there was great impact. And so those community partners went ahead and held a second drive-through providing both PPE equipment and resources, educational materials. And additionally, because of that partnership, they are exploring writing a grant to secure local funding from a local foundation. So within this section, again, it's 10 points. It's a very important aspect of your recipe. You want to make sure you include everything. You don't want to skip a step. But this section is really going to allow you to communicate any judgments that you have about the program. It can allow you to talk about improvements in the effectiveness of the program moving forward, and or if new partnerships or collaborative efforts were added, or if they were dissolved, because sometimes they run their course and you're not going to necessarily want to continue them, or perhaps you met someone at the table in a meeting that then allowed you to spin off in a new direction, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You may not realize this, but depending upon the type of award that you're writing or applying for, it's very likely that you're going to want to have at least 2 or 3 years of data collected, because that's going to strengthen your award application. It's going to allow you to show greater impact, and you're going to be able to document any changes along the way, any adaptations that you made, and you're going to want to include that within this section of your award application.
Okay, so supporting materials. We have to put information in there to support what we have submitted. And do not get points deducted or not get the full 10 points because you do not want to put the supporting materials in there. We always create brochures, fact sheets, flyers, press releases, feature articles, and blog posts. So go ahead, if you can screenshot, use snipping tool or something, make sure that you put the supporting materials in there. The supporting materials, examples of supporting materials can be found under the communication awards. And in our example, for instance, I would put some of the fact sheets that we distributed to the county employees that the mayor distributed from his office, and some of the hand washing information that we've included along with the PPE materials that we distributed. Also, if you get one of those nice thank you notes, and there on the screen, there is a thank you note from a participant. That is huge because that is in the client's own words. And you can just do a little snapshot, a little screenshot or a little snipping tool and put it right into the application because that is in the client's own words. If we write something in the newspaper, for our example, we would have announced everything in the newspaper. We probably would have wrote an article for it. And also we had a flyer. So we would put all of those things in as supporting materials. I will encourage you, if you are putting some more supporting materials in there, and it is a link, for instance, to a website or a link to a newspaper site, make sure that the link is live and it is not broken. And also make sure that if you use any sort of links, say for instance, for your universities, your individual universities, that it is not password protected. All of those things are included if you include them in the application process, the reviewer can click on them. And if they cannot see it, then they are going to probably deduct points because they were not able to actually view the attachment. So you want to make sure that the links are live and make sure that they are not password protected should you put that in your supporting materials.
All right, well, we have some really exciting news this year. Many of you have already seen the changes to the website, and it looks amazing. So I hope you are enjoying the new look to the website, but I hope you're also enjoying the new look to the manual. A lot of work went into updating the manual, making it have a larger font size, putting the page numbers at the top of the page, which I really appreciate because for some reason when I would print it out, it would end up cutting those page numbers off. So our new awards manual looks fabulous, and a big shout out to Julie Garden Robinson for all the work that she did along with Will in updating that, and also other contributors for that process. A few other things we want to talk about that are new, and that is our NEA-FCS Awards Affirmation. And this is really a handy little checklist that is available. It's a 2-page front and back, and it tells you all of the different things you really need to know with regards to submitting an application. So follow this checklist, and when you are looking at this checklist, one thing I really want to stress is that when you are applying, that you go ahead and check the box indicating which national region your state affiliate falls under. Not the part of the state that you reside in, but what part of the country, what region within the United States that your state falls under. So it could be the central region, the eastern, western, or central. We want to ensure that all potential winners of awards know what's expected of them when they win. And so we've taken the feedback that's been provided in the past years and turned that into this really helpful checklist. So you have a good understanding of everything when you are applying for awards. You have know what the expectations are right up front. And this is really helpful for everybody, but especially for those that are submitting applications for the first time. We really want to make this process as easy and as helpful as possible for everyone so that writing your application isn't as overwhelming as it could be. Moving on to our next slide, I just want to cover the final steps in our recipe. So as we're pulling that cake out of the oven and it's just really smelling just delicious, we want to make sure that just as you're, maybe the last step, in addition to pulling the cake out of the oven, is you sprinkle some sugar on it, or maybe you're going to put frosting on it. But we want to make sure that everyone understands the final steps of that recipe. So each affiliate vice president for awards and recognition is going to designate their own state application deadline. And so you're going to want to make sure that you are speaking with your state affiliate VP for awards and recognition. So you'll understand what each individual deadline is for your affiliate. That's really important. So some states say after you submit an award, you will, the national office will send out a confirmation email. So it's very important that you are looking for that confirmation email. If you don't receive a confirmation email, that means something went wrong. So go ahead and reach out to the national office or your state VP. Once you receive that confirmation email from the national office, you may want to go ahead and forward that to your state affiliate VP so that they have a record of who's applying for what and when those applications were then submitted. Also, if you're thinking, okay, well, it's June 1st and I haven't heard anything about whether or not I won, you're going to hear back from the national office by May 30th. And typically, if you, you're going to hear from the state office, the national office, excuse me, by May 30th. And, whether or not you won, and are going to then go to the national conference. And so it's important when you receive that information that you review the comments that your judges have written regarding your application. The judges have taken time and written thoughtful comments about your award application. Perhaps you didn't win this year, and that's okay, because the comments that they provide you with are going to help you strengthen your award application. It's going to allow you to then take those comments, take them into consideration, and make adjustments as needed. That way, for next year, if you apply for the same award, you have the opportunity to strengthen it. You'll be able to gather more data. Again, you'll have a stronger application. Now, one word about applying for your awards, or even consider becoming a judge. So we ask that you please become or consider becoming a judge this year. There's so much that you can learn. So there's a link that we've put in the chat box for individuals that are interested. The link is also available on the NEA FCS Facebook page, and it's going to be, you can find it in the upcoming NEA FCS newsletter. So go ahead, fill out that link, make sure that it's completed by March 3rd, and then look for an email from Julie Garden Robinson with further information. Keyshawn?
Our next slide is changes, awards, and the application system. So occasionally some awards are collapsed. They end because the sponsor may decide not to fund them that year, or they may have different change in priorities. So this year, the American Cleaning Institute has decided they will no longer sponsor an award or have a booth at the national conference. And we do know that, we understand that members have enjoyed their things in the past. They have changed in priorities, and the national is looking at a way to continue to foster that relationship, but they're no longer sponsor an award. They used to have an award. The financial management in memory of Dean Don Felker has a new title, and is now a $500 cash prize for one national winner. And this award is sponsored by Purdue University. The past president's new professional award now recognizes members within the first 5 years of service. It used to be the first 3 years of service in cooperative extension. The recipient must also attend the national conference. The Education Curriculum Package Award has moved from the Communications Awards category to its very own standalone category. That actually was new last year, but some things are so new that we want to make sure that we kind of highlight it. So that award is a standalone award, because the thought process behind it is that it takes a lot longer to and a lot more in depth to come up with a curriculum package than a regular communications award. It's a lot more in depth, and you have to do a lot more, as you all know, to develop a curriculum. The Extension Disaster Education Award was also added. It's a relatively new award. It was there last year. However, it bears repeating that it is still there, and it focuses specifically on Extension's response to disaster situations. It recognizes innovative and educational programs and outreach efforts to help individuals and families become more resilient and decrease the impact of natural or human-made disasters. And also the Social Media Education and Social Media Education Online Video Award were combined to form the Social Media Education Award. So whether they were formerly two separate awards, they are now one award. And if you're looking for those two separate awards, just look under that one award and go ahead and apply. The Communications Awards were all labeled with the prefix Communications Award and were reviewed and alphabetized. So now they're all alphabetized, and they all have the heading of being a communication award. Also, the system, it looks different this year, you guys. So our new award system is different, and the information has remained the same. The information that you have to put in to apply for an award, it remains the same, but the system looks a little different. And you no longer have to add a blank document if you make a mistake and with an upload and you want to replace it. Once you upload, and if you want to replace it with a new document, it'll automatically take the new document. So those are one of the things that was corrected with the new system as well as the new look. Additional resources. We all know that when we are making something for the first time, there's a little apprehension, a little nervousness that goes with it. And sometimes we may say, well, I'm not a fan of olives, but what could I add in it to it instead of olives to make it suit my taste, if you will? So sometimes we have to reach out to different people or to different resources. I am a huge Pinterest and social media group fan for recipes and different additions to recipes. So we encourage you to use additional resources when you're creating your application recipe as well. The first thing is the awards website. It's new and different, and it has a little razzle dazzle, you all. It has a lot of great videos and information about and it has a specific a video about how to apply step by step for an award. And it has a lot of good information on the website, on the awards tab on the NEAFCS website. So please visit the website. The next one is past award winners. Use your resources. If you were making something for the first time, you want to make sure that you talk to someone that has made it before. Actually, if especially if it's something that's intricate as an awards application. So talk to someone that has made it before and they've made it successfully before. So talk to previous award winners. If you have retirees in your state, they are great for reviewing applications or providing just feedback on how you can improve your application. Other colleagues, sometimes once you look at that application ad nauseum, you're thinking you have all the grammatical and all of the errors corrected, but sometimes our eyes see what we want to see. So having someone else to look at it or talk to you or even think through how you can how you can strengthen the application or make it better is a great resource. Also, back to past award winners on the website, there is you can look at past award winners and it has the PDF of what won nationally in that category from 2020 to 2018. So it can give you an idea. Some of us are visual learners like myself, so I have to kind of look at things and I can say, okay, I can make an application based on what I've seen or what won before, how they put it together. Okay, the next one is your vice president for awards and recognition. Make sure you utilize them as a resource. We get trainings and resources and information, and your vice president of awards and recognition are generally on board to help you think through. In my state, I've helped several applicants think through how they can strengthen it, what they can do, and how they can put things together. So if you want to use that as a resource, go ahead and utilize them. They are in a position for a reason. And also a judging committee. Sometimes you may put together a judging committee and it can be comprised of anybody that you like. But I would encourage, if you have a judging committee or you want to let someone else look at it before you apply, I usually get someone that's outside of extension. And one great thing that's been great for me is to have a local English teacher. They will rip it to shreds and put it back together for you, and they can really provide valuable feedback. The other thing is having someone outside of extension, because sometimes we know we like to use a lot of extension ease or extension jargon. So if someone that's outside of our organization can understand the application and know what you did and it's a well-written application, then that is a huge plus, and you know that you are right on the mark for sending in a successful application. This concludes our training for today. And again, any of us would be willing to answer questions or provide any feedback if you need the additional resources or you need additional help. So just reach out to us. Good luck, everyone. Apply, apply, apply. And thank you so much for joining us. Good luck this award season.